Hello and welcome to Jamie's Motion Graphics, episode 45. Today we're making this. Well, actually we're not making this per se. I already made it and I'm going to explain to you how I made it and, well, basically which expressions I used to make this an infinite flower. Okay, here we are in After Effects and I'm going to explain the effect rather than actually build it, well, live, because it's actually quite a lot of work and I just wanted to, well, show you the details, but not the entire process of creating it. So the effect actually looks like this. Hang on, let me show you. There you go. So it's an infinite loop of changing colors, basically. There is a limited amount of colors. Currently I have something like 6 or 7, no, I believe 25 even. Colors, but yeah, anyway. What we have is we have 3 comps, which are the 3 sizes of shapes, but they all consist of 2 types of layers. First of all, the top layer, which is the one that actually grows, so that's the one we see. Hang on, let me zoom in a bit so you can see it better. So the way it works, this first layer, it will grow until it's full size, and that's at 1 second. And then at 1 second it will get taken over. As you can see, it's now over here. It will get taken over by the layer that was here. It will just move over one stop, and then it will grow again and blah blah. But it will appear that it's stationary, because as you can see, it just flips from here to there and then from there to there and so on. This one is the only one that's actually moving. So how did I make it? First of all, let's put everything off. You can see there are only 9 layers here. 8 of them are just petals, they're all the same, and the last one is the one that grows, and we're going to go do that one first. So as you can see, quite a few things that are on here, and they're all expressions. Let's first start with the rotation. The rotation is just well, math.round and then time minus a half plus 1 times 45. This whole expression is basically saying that every second, which is the time, I have to move 45 degrees. So if I just had round time times 45, it would work the same way. It's just that it would trigger at half a second, 1.5 seconds, and so on. So we do the minus a half to make sure that it triggers not on 0, but on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. And then we do the plus 1 because I wanted to start with this being 45 degrees, because otherwise this one would be over here and it would look really weird, just because that, yeah, that makes it asymmetrical, and that's just weird. Anyway, this problem is gone once the first leaf starts growing, so you won't even notice it. But it's of course because all of the layers are on top of each other. This is the bottom layer, this is the top layer, and they just go like this. The thing is, if you want to solve this problem, you need to cut out this part of the leaf, and you can actually do that if you want to. So if you cut off this part of the leaf by changing the mask on this, so you just go to mask and you just well, edit the shape here to be something like, hang on, so from here, and then we pick up this one and we just drag it over here somewhere. I don't know exactly where it needs to be, but yeah, this one needs to be small. I'm just going to do it really quickly. You can do it perfectly. I actually had it at some point. I don't know why I removed it, but there was some issue with it. Well, I found that there was an issue. So you can actually do it like this, and then it will work just as well. And it will appear that there is, well, of course this needs to be the same angle as the other one, but it will appear that all of them are just perfectly aligned. But yeah, we're not going to do that. We are going to just leave it like this, and we're going to just well, accept that it's asymmetrical or not perfect. But you can make it perfect. I'm just saying. I think I remade it, and that's why I no longer have that. But it doesn't matter. Anyhow, going from rotation then to scale, since this one has to scale up, it has a little equation here or expression to well, describe what it needs to do. It needs to reset every second, which is why we need a temp time, which is temporary time variable, a variable that we can edit, because the time itself is just is readout only, or read only, I should say. So you can only read it, you cannot edit it. So we make a temporary variable that actually can be edited, and it's the time plus 1/30th. The 1/30th is because we want it to be well, once it rotates from this position, well, no, from this position, this is the first leaf basically that it's going to grow into. So it's going to grow, and then at this point it's maximum. So this is exactly at 1 second. But then the next frame, what we want is this to be 0 again, or near 0, very small at least. But what it does if you type it without the plus 1/30th is it will jump to this position, and it will still be full scale. And it will be there for only one frame, but 1/30th of a second is definitely something people will see. Well, I saw it, that's why I changed it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it if it's invisible. But anyway, that's why the plus 1/30th is there. Then, while temp time is bigger than 1, temp time is temp time minus 1, which means that every second we remove a second. And we do this because we want to know not which second we're on, but we want to know which part of the second we're on. Because it's going to repeat every second, it doesn't matter whether we're on second 1 or on second 250, it's the same deal. So basically we reduce the amount of information we have by removing the whole seconds, and what's left is then, well, just where in the second are we? Are we at frame number 0? Are we at frame number 30? Yeah, we can just see it by this. And then basically all I do is I multiply that by 100, because, well, the total time, the maximum you can have is 1. Because if it's bigger than 1, it gets reduced. So the maximum you can have is 1, meaning that if I multiply that by 100, I have a maximum of 100, so it's between 0 and 100, and actually not 0, but 1/30th and 100. And then I just use that for the scale. That's all. So times 100, because, well, the scale is in percent, and so you need to multiply by 100. And then, yeah, well, you have to output it in two-dimensional vector. Since they're both the same size, you just repeat the value twice. It's pretty easy. Then, yeah, the stroke. Let's just go from easy to hard here. The stroke is only one line. I basically pick whipped to the map y2, and, well, I'll show you in a moment. So basically, I pick whipped to the fill, and just set times 0.5, which means you just get a darker version of the same color. So by doing so, you get a very easy expression to get just a darker value around it, which is all good. So how this works setup wise is I have tint on it, which we have these expressions on. So tint and stroke. Stroke is the expression that I just told you. It is set to mask 1, which is just the only mask that's on here. And it is also just, well, the expression is based on the tint expression. And the tint has its own expression, but that is a rather long one, as you will see in a moment here. That's the expression we're going to go into in a moment. I don't know why it's not scrolling down. Oh, there you go. So it's actually even bigger. then that. So yeah, this is quite a long expression, but it's very easy. So this one is set by time, and then the other one is set based on, so the stroke color is set, well, based on the tint color. It's very easy. It's you can totally understand that, I'm assuming. So here we once again have temp time is time, color number is 0. We will use a color number to define where we are in our sequence, and we need to set it to 0 first, because otherwise it doesn't know where to start counting. So anyway, while temp time is bigger than 8, we remove 8 and we put color number plus 1. That is because, well, every second we have one of these leaves appearing. There are 8 leaves, so 8 seconds. So we want to know on which leaf we are. And if we're on leaf number 9, basically, then we want to switch colors. That's the whole thing. So then if that's the next line. If it's the remaining part is smaller than index -1, then we keep our color. So color number -1 means we pick the last color. And this is because all of the different layers have to keep the color until they're changed. But then they have to change with the new color. And this makes that happen. So the index -1 makes sure that you kind of look at which layer are we. So are we this layer, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this? And then it will change based on that. The top one will need to change first because that's this one. That's going to rotate to this one, and then take this color. And well, that's just the way it is. If you don't understand it, that's fine. You're probably in a video that's a little bit above your understanding of this program, but that's fine. Just type it over and you'll see it works. Anyway, while color number is bigger than 25, remove 25. So this is because I can have an infinite amount of color number, basically. So it can be like 1,000, it can be 1,000,000. Every time it's bigger than 25, until it's not bigger than 25, we remove 25 because we only have 25 colors. So it goes, well, actually, or 26 colors. It goes from 0 to 25, the color setup. I just typed a bunch of numbers. They're all, as you can see, 1, 0.5. I think there are a few 0.75 in there. But yeah, you can definitely do a better job than I did. You can also make more colors. You can make less colors if you want to. I just have a bunch of colors here that are hopefully all slightly different, or well, not all of them are different, and all of them are, by the way, fully transparent, fully opaque. So you have 4 numbers. I'll show you the last one. That's, I believe, 11111. There you go. The last one, if the color number thing fails, it will go back to being white. What this does, or what these numbers look like, is you have to have a vector, so with these sharp-edged brackets, and then you have 4 dimensions for each, or for any color that you use. So the first one is red, then green, then blue, and the last one is the opacity. And the opacity is 1 with all of them, as I said. If you make it less, then it will shine through. And yeah, you can make some pretty cool effects with that, but that was not what I was looking for. So I made all of them 1. And as I said, I have kind of, yeah, not the best colors, but yeah, you can do better than that. If you want all red colors, then just make sure you put the red to 1 everywhere, and just vary the green and the blue, and you will have all different colors red, which is pretty awesome. Anyway, yeah, well, you don't have to do 1 everywhere, but just make it a big enough number so you can actually see it. Yeah, that's everything that's on this first layer. So there's quite a lot on there, as you can see. And then the second one is this one, which doesn't have as much on it. It has the same expression on the the map Y2, so basically the fill. It has the same expression on the stroke, but those are obvious, because if this wasn't, or if they weren't the same, both of them, then you would notice that what I did. So what I did is this: I rotate the entire thing 45 degrees every second. And so this expression is a little bit different from what we had before. We have we look at the initial rotation of this previous layer, so of the top layer, and we add 45 degrees times index -1. So meaning that for this one, so this one is layer number 2, so index is 2, -1 is 1 times 45 degrees is 45 degrees. So we have the rotation minus 45 degrees, meaning that it's this one. But when this one, so the colored leaf, the new leaf, the one that grows, rotates 45 degrees, like this, oh, well, no, like from here, so currently it's 0. Here it rotates 45 degrees. You can see a little dot here. That's the new leaf coming in. And the one that was over here is now over here, and it changed colors at the same time. That's why you don't see it, because, well, it's perfect. Well, you can see it a little bit here in the edge. There you can see that the edge actually gets removed. That's because that's still the gray one that was underneath it was still a little bit bigger than the purple one, because it was still growing. Anyhow, yeah, that's really all there is to it. This second one, so yeah, you can see the difference. The second one is copied 8 times to represent the 8 leaves. And then the 9th one, as I said, that's the growing one. But these 8 ones need to be up at all times. So then I made the same, well, I just duplicated the entire composition. And the only thing I changed is the scale. So we can see here the scale is now, let's go back to an actual number. So let's go to, where are we? We're currently, yeah, this is, so this is where the leaf is complete. This is the growing leaf. And you can see it's now at 100 and 150%. So what I did was just I multiplied by a different number. So in the previous one, so in the first composition, this one was 10 times 10 times. It's the scale variable. And now I have 10 times, 10 times times 1.5, meaning that, well, just the y gets scaled up, the x stays the same. And I also did a rotation thingy. The rotation is actually over here. I added 180 degrees to it, and I added a +1 to it, meaning that, oh no, I added, I believe the +1. I'm not actually sure, but I rotated this by 22.5 degrees to make sure that that we have, so you can see at yeah, at the 0, that it's not at 180, it's in fact a little bit on, and in the final design we can see that because, well, actually we can't see that over here, that's why I can't find it, because I accidentally removed it. You can see it with this one. So you need to rotate them by 22.5 degrees to make sure that they exist inside those things. So I'm going to fix that in a moment before I make my final thing. But yeah, what I should have done is what I did here then, plus 22.5. So I need to remove this and put it over here. And now it should be fine. So now it should look the way it's supposed to look. Yeah, so here you have the one edge, and then you have the next one, and then you have the next one. Yeah, really, the scale is the only thing I changed, and of course the rotation then. I wanted them to be in different spots, which is why there's here there's +90, here there's +180. I can't find it, here it is. And yeah, the second layer is still the same except for the scale. So the scale needs to be changed here. It's 100 to 150, but since there's no expression on it, because these are just stationary leaves, all of the other ones. Petals, I should call them. They're stationary, so they don't care. And yeah, so you can just set the expression straight off. So all of them are 150%, and for the rest, well, everything else is the same because the rotation depended on the rotation of that first one. So if you rotate that one by 22.5 degrees, you rotate all of them by 22.5 degrees. So then the last one, that one has, well, just a scaling. As you can see from this, it has, oh, let's go to an actual number. Come on. There you go. One earlier, I guess. Yeah, it has 100, 200. So it has 200% scaling on the Y. So temp time times 2. It's because I wanted it to be even bigger, and this was the easiest way to do it. You can, of course, also use the small leaves and just move them outwards. It will look just the same. It's all the same. It doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as you do it so that it actually makes sense. So the rotation, yeah, I already showed you. The rotation is 90 degrees here instead of the 0 or the 180, just because I wanted the colors to appear in different sections. You can see that it actually does that. So if we play it for a little bit, then you can see that this one comes up over here, and there will be one over here, yeah, and over here. So there are actually 3 leaves growing at the same time, and you can of course offset that with the time if you want to. You can offset that an angle. You can even speed up one of them and leave the others behind. You can do whatever you want with it. It's just that, well, I liked it this way, and yeah, you can make it whatever you want. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. What you do in your design then is you just paste all the layers on top of each other. So you take layer 3 and then layer 2, comp 3, comp 2, comp 1. You put them on top of each other, and that's all you need to do. You can even make a 4th one or 5th one to make it even bigger, and then you just render it out. But yeah, currently we have 1 petal every second, and I wanted to change that so that actually it goes from being 5 minutes to being 30 seconds. So I just did the time. So right click on the layer, time stretch, and I made it to 10%. So instead of 5 minutes, so 300 seconds, it's now 30 seconds. And that means that it's now a lot faster and therefore a lot better, because what we want is we want something that's actually energetic. We want something that just looks cool. And yeah, I think that I did manage to do that. So the actual speed would look something like this. There you go. And that is just, if you can repeat that over and over and over, obviously that's going to result in a pretty cool animation. And yeah, for the rest you can of course add whatever you want to it. I just wanted to show you the effect, and the effect is relatively simple. You don't need a lot of layers. In fact, you have like 9 layers for each of the flowers, just because you have 8 petals and 1 growing one. And then you can make as many of these comps as you want with different setups, different shapes of leaves, different colors, whatever. It's all pretty easy to make. Anyway, I hope you learned something today, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.